This is Catia For Beginners. In this instructional video, I'm going to show you how to make a 4-inch cube using beginner skills with Catia. What we're going to start with is we're going to go to the Start menu and go into Mechanical Design. Then we're going to go into the subcategory of Part Design. Now in this window here, we can label our part, so when we go to save it later, it will have a designation. So label that sample. Now in this window here, we have a choice of 3 different 2-dimensional axes that we can draw on. Now if we put our mouse over any of them, they will light up in the top left corner. Now in the top left corner is what we call our tree. In our tree, we have all 3 different 2-dimensional axes that we can draw on, and they are labeled X, Y, YZ, and ZX. For this video, I'm going to choose to draw on X, Y. Over here is our sketch pad. Kind of scribble on the pen on it. But this brings us into our 2-dimensional drawing board. Now, over here to the right, we have our choices of what we can use to start our designing. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few of them. The top one here is our profile design, where we can choose to select to free draw. Underneath it, we have our rectangular choice, which inside of it, there are more selections, but for the purpose of this particular project, we're going to start with the rectangular one. Now in order to delay it, you're just going to left click anywhere on your grid, and then drag it. Now, as you can see, we can make it any shape we want. We can make it a rectangle or a square, but for the purpose, we're going to make it a square. Now, as you can see, we can still manipulate it, even though we've already sort of drawn it out. That's okay. We still need to add dimensions, and once the dimensions are in, it will stand. So we're going to select the side and come over here to this little box that has what looks like dimension lines. It's a constraint, but they are essentially dimensions. The dimensions where we want them, we're just going to click it down anywhere, and then double click it to open up the constraint definition. Now, as you can see, the dimensions are already in inches, and that's exactly what we want. We want to make the cube 4 inches. So we're just going to type in the 4 and click OK. Now you can see that it's moved it to exactly 4 inches, but we can still move the box around, and we can still make it skinnier, more rectangular. So we're going to add another dimension on the top square. We just left click it, come over to the little constraint box, and put a dimension on it. Double click it again to bring up the constraint definition, and type in the 4 inches that we want. Now it's perfect for, but it can still move. So we need to constrain it off our reference point in the center of the square. So what you need to do for this is you need to click 2 of the sides. And in order to do that, you need to click one of them, the left click, and then control click the second line. And then we're going to put another constraint on it. Now we're going to make it half of the total length, which is 2. Now, we can still move it side to side, but not up and down. So there's one more constraint that we need to put on it. So click on the line in the center, and then control click one of the side lines that is white, and put a dimension on it. So we need to make it 2 inches. Now, as you can see, the box is perfectly green and does not move. That is exactly what we need. Green is for go. Now, we're going to come over to the right-hand side and click what looks like a box with an arrow through it. This is our exit workbench. This brings us back to the first window we had with the new square that we have drawn. Now what we need to do is we need to make that square into a box. So it needs to go in the Z direction. So we're going to come over here where it looks like two three-dimensional boxes. It's our pad definition. Now in the first limit, you'll see dimension, and there are more choices. But these other choices we do not need, so we're going to stick with dimension. Now it's a cube, so we're going to put the dimension at 4 inches. And I'm going to click preview just to see what it looks like. Now, that is exactly the cube that we want, but I don't exactly like it because I want my reference point in the center of the cube. That is my reference point, and I want it in the center. So I'm going to come over back to my pad definition and click mirrored extend. Now, it has a perfect 4 inches on top and 4 inches on the bottom. That's not exactly what I want because that makes it more of a rectangular prison. So I'm going to change the length to 2 inches. And it should change it. Just to make sure, I'm going to click preview. Perfect. That is exactly the cube that I want with the reference point in the very center. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. After I show it up a little bit, click OK. And there we have it. We have a perfect 4-inch cube in Catia. Now if you want to know how to move that around, just click the middle of your mouse and left click and hold them and move your mouse around. And it will move it as a circle in a sphere. Now, if you want to zoom in and out, click the center mouse button again, tap the left mouse button, and move your mouse in and out. You can also move the shape as a whole. In order to do that, just click the center mouse button and move your mouse around. Now, if you want to go back to a specific view, down at the bottom, there's this little blue box. Inside there, you have choices to see bottom view, top view, different side views, or an isometric view. I'm going to click on the isometric view to put it back to the way it would be normally. Thank you for watching Catia for Beginners, and keep a lookout for new instructional videos to hone your Catia skills. Thank you for watching, and may the force of Catia be with you.